You're not in charge. Stop trying this diet, this exercise, that exercise, trying. Just let it go. Let your body do its thing. If you fast, it's an example of how you're taking away control from yourself and you're just giving your body control and you're saying, there, fix it. Whatever's going on, just fix it. If I'm bloated after meals, if I'm feeling heavy, if I'm feeling like I'm craving all the time, like, fix it. Like, I'm going to stop eating for this amount of time. Just do what you do. So I want you to let go. But yes, I just wanted to say a big thank you. I'm Tamara Walpole, and I'm a nutritional therapist. I'm a functional medicine student, a very proud functional medicine student. And I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in the fitness industry since I was 19 years old. I'm 37 now, so you do the maths. And I've been doing nutrition for just as long. And I've actually been specializing in nutrition for about 7 years. So I've been doing it for a long time, but I'm especially passionate about fasting and what fasting can do for you. I have to say, there have been ladies who have done my fasting programs in the past who have come back with amazing results for weight loss and for banishing their cravings. That was a big one. And just for being more focused and more disciplined with their diets. Those are the three main things that I find women want to fix when it comes to fasting. And I have to say, some of the comments on some of my fasting programs and some of my masterclasses in the past include, catch this, life-changing. Not me, but finding out about fasting and how you can integrate fasting into your life. It has been life-changing for women. And that just lights up my soul. It lights up my heart, because I have to agree, fasting changed my life, and that's why I'm here today. That's why I'm so passionate to share the information I have about fasting and give it to any woman who wants to know how to get into shape, how to banish their cravings, how to be more structured, how to be more disciplined in their diet. I am so excited to share that, because I found that fasting changed my life. So just to kind of give you a bit of a background, and then I'll give you an introduction into what to expect the next few days. I had a binge eating disorder when I was in my 20s. It was at its absolute worst in my early 20s, and then it petered out towards the end of my 20s. And oh gosh, I felt heavy. I felt bloated, I felt unwell, out of control. And for someone who's in the fitness industry, who was teaching nutrition, I found it quite ironic that I was then going home to binge sometimes. And it really got me down, and it kind of destroyed my confidence back then. And I wasn't sure how I was ever going to get out of it. It was a very tumultuous time, and I just remember it took over my life, and I just wasn't sure how I'd ever get out of the cycle. So I stumbled across fasting by accident. I had no idea about fasting. I used to think fasting was just a way to starve yourself. I thought, no, I'm not going to go that way. I'm not going to starve myself. That's not me. But I stumbled across it by accident. I was binging and then being really healthy as well. So I was kind of switching between those two things. Anyone who is in any cycle like that would understand that that's how it feels. You're kind of going from healthy to unhealthy, healthy to unhealthy. And so on my healthy days, I was getting really kind of sick and tired of the healthy breakfasts. I was just sick of eggs, and I was sick of avocado, and I was sick of porridge and all of those things. So I actually decided to skip breakfast, and I kind of made a habit of it. And what I found was, by inadvertently doing a 16-8 fast, which is 16 hours fasting, 8 hours eating window, by doing it inadvertently without even understanding that I was doing it. By lunchtime, I was starting to feel light. I was starting to feel like my tummy wasn't bloated anymore. I kind of had a spring in my step. And I know it sounds strange, but I felt more motivated. I felt like by the time lunchtime came, I felt energized and I felt motivated. I was like, I can't wait to eat something, but in a good way. And I was like, when I eat, I want to carry on this feeling of lightness. I want to carry on this feeling of, feeling, flat in the stomach. And I just want to continue it. So when it came to lunchtime, I would make better choices and I would eat more appropriate portions for me. So without even knowing it, over time, I started to become just smarter with my eating. I started to care about my health a lot more. And I started to appreciate the feeling of not feeling bloated anymore and not feeling heavy and weighed down by my food choices. So, I mean, that's a quite triggering story. I know that there's a couple of people who have registered for this masterclass who are struggling with emotional eating. So I hear you, I understand you. But that's my story, and that's why I'm so passionate about fasting. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend diving into a fasting program if you have an eating disorder of any kind. So if you have a binge eating disorder, or if you have any other type of eating disorder, I wouldn't recommend you dive into a fasting program like the type I'm going to describe over the next few days. I'm going to give you some really cool tips. You're going to like the tips I'm going to give you. I wouldn't recommend you go into it with both feet if you're dealing with an eating disorder. And I do recommend that you kind of take your time with it, and only when you're ready do you take on another diet. And that's in quotes. That's in quotes, because fasting isn't diet, I'm telling you. And that's what I'm going to tell you in the next hour or so. So I just want to say Happy New Year. So it's 2023. And I know that the new year is a really great time to set new goals and to, just wipe the slate clean, start again. I really like that feeling. And maybe for you listening, maybe for you, one of the goals could be to get into shape, feel a bit lighter, feel a bit slimmer, feel a bit more in control of your eating. And I really like that. But this year is a special year because we are in a tumultuous time in the world at the moment. You only have to turn on the news to see what state the world is in. It's really sad what's happening out there at the moment, and we can't help but listen, and some of us can't help but get bogged down with it. So I was only watching the news the other day. My in-laws were visiting, and it was lovely. They were helping with the kids, and it was just lovely. But they came to visit, and they put on the news, and straight away, just videos of the Ukraine, and more buildings turned to rubble, and then you have prices going up. Everyone's feeling the pinch at the moment. And we're also coming out of a pandemic, which, the worst of it is over, hopefully, but we're still talking about it. There's still new variants coming out that's still making the news. So it's a really tough time at the moment. And so this year is special because we have a tumultuous world, but I believe that the best way to fix things in the world is to start with yourself. And if you agree with that, just put a thumbs up in the chat, just to say if you agree. I really believe that you need to start with yourself in order to make a change out there. So if that means something as simple as you feeling your best self, just feeling like healthy and vital, like feeling energetic when you leave the house, that is the best thing that you can do for the world and the people around you. It's the kindest thing you can do. So I think putting yourself first this year is really, really important. taking a stand for your health, looking after your body, using the ancient wisdom of fasting. And that is one hell of a start to the year, I think. So if you take the tips I have for you on board today and you take it on with you for the next year, can you imagine this time next year? And you know how quickly the years come by, right? Can you imagine this time next year, how you'll look, how you'll feel? But then at the same time, imagine how you'll feel if you don't stick to a program, if you don't put yourself first, if you don't look after your health this year. Can you imagine what it will be like this time next year in that case as well? So take those two options, weigh them up, and think, right, I'm going to make my decision today. I'm going to decide to make a change to my health, and I'm going to stick with it. And this time next year, if Tam's doing another fasting masterclass, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be giving my success story. So that is my hope for you. And I really believe that fasting is going to play a big part in it. Now, fasting isn't a panacea. I'm not going to lie and say that it's for everybody. It's probably not going to be for everybody. It might not be for you. You might not like the idea of taking long periods of time without eating. You might not like that. That might not suit your lifestyle. It might not suit your body. Your body might not quite agree with it. But if you're here today, that means that you're willing to try on those shoes. You're like, I'm going to try on those fasting shoes. And if they fit, then that's a great year. Like it's a great way to spend your year living a fasting lifestyle. That's a nice term for it, a fasting lifestyle. So I'm just going to explain to you what's going to happen today. So I'm going to start by just explaining the benefits of fasting and more the benefits tomorrow, but today more just fasting appreciation. I want to take out of your head any idea that fasting is just a fad. It's just another diet, and I'll try it, and maybe I'll try another diet next time. And it's not like that. It's something that you could take into your life going forwards for the rest of your life. Like once you know about fasting, it's very hard to get rid of it. So so that's basically what the first part is going to be. It's about appreciating fasting for what it really is. And then the final part will be about mindset, because I want to set your mind for the 18-hour fast if you choose to do it this evening, and also going forwards as well. So which of you are going to be doing the 18-hour fast? Amazing. Okay, so if you're going to do the 18-hour fast, I'm just going to give you a brief description of how to go about it. Okay. Yep. Okay, cool. So some people are definites and some people are not sure, and that's absolutely fine. But I will kind of let you know that in a nutshell, if you're going to do the 18-hour fast, hopefully so far, if you got my emails the last couple of days, 14 to 16-hour fasts, hopefully you've been kind of warming up. Yep, I see what you've been doing. 16 hours for now. Yep, I get that. So hopefully you've been warming up with 14 to 16 hours, because with fasting, like with exercise, you need to warm up first. So before diving in to 18 hours, it's a good idea to start with shorter ones like 14 and 16. Ah, brilliant. Yeah, nice one. Okay, so that's great. So people have been warming up in this group, which is great. So now, if you do the 18-hour fast this evening, I recommend that you start after dinner. So have your dinner, have your final meal, and great, amazing. Warming up with 14. So you have your final meal this evening, and then you basically don't eat any calories until tomorrow. So it will probably be tomorrow afternoon around that time. So for me, it would be 7 p.m. to 7 p.m. to 1 p.m. That would sort of be it. And when you're fasting, you basically have no calories. So the only thing that you would have is lots and lots of water, and maybe some black coffee, some herbal tea, no sugar, no milk, nothing that contains calories. Like just keep it simple, just water, black tea, black coffee, and herbal tea. And just, yeah, and then I'll take you through some mindset stuff at the end of this hour. So hopefully you're going to be prepared for that. But I better dive into the fasting appreciation portion of this hour. Fasting is, oh gosh, guys, like it's so much more than a diet. It's an expectation. So fasting isn't a diet, it's an expectation of your body. So your body expects to fast occasionally. We have ancient bodies that still think that we need to hunt for food, that still thinks that we need to, and that there'll be times of famine, that there'll still be times when food isn't available. So we still live in that time, our bodies. It doesn't know that we can just pop to the cupboard and pick some food up. It doesn't know that yet. It's just crazy, isn't it? So your body expects to have time when you're not eating. So what I want to kind of put into your mind here is the word trust. So I want you to really mull over that word for a minute. Trust. Fasting helps to build trust in your body, between you and your body. It builds a trusting relationship. Because I don't know about you, but maybe you've lost trust in your body. I know that I did when I was having my disordered eating in my 20s. I lost a lot of trust with my body. I felt like I would just look at a cake and I'd just gain weight. Like all I could think was just stupid body. Like, why don't you just do what I want you to do? Like, why do you crave like this? Why does it feel like this? Like, why is this happening? And you can lose trust in your body. But what you really need to know is that your body is working every single moment to keep you healthy, to keep you well, to keep you balanced. It is trying its best with everything that you give it. It's doing its absolute best with it. And what body you have is the best that it can do right now. So what you need to do is you need to feed it. Well, that's a funny word to use. But yes, you need to feed it good quality food, but then you also need to consider fasting and food timing. Because guys, fasting is a healer. It heals your body. When you're in a fasted state, so when you haven't eaten for at least 12 hours, that's basically what a fasted state is. When you haven't eaten for 12 hours, healing occurs a lot faster and a lot more efficiently. Cells are recycled much quicker. Your body rests, it reboots, and it restores when there is no food present. And that's a fact. That's a scientific fact. I'm not just saying it just to kind of sell you on fasting. So I want you to know that when your body is fasting, it is healing. Now, I'm actually getting over a stomach bug at the moment, which is quite ironic because I actually haven't been eating very well for the last 48 hours because every time I eat, I need to go to the toilet. So basically, I haven't been eating a lot in the last couple of days, and I didn't intend it. I didn't want it. I need to I need to nourish myself now. I need to feed myself nourishing foods, and I kind of need to do that phase because with fasting comes nourishing as well. So you fast and then you nourish, and you kind of flip between those two things. So I definitely need to nourish myself. Like I'm not feeling great. But it's funny how as soon as you're sick, your body doesn't want to eat. It wants to heal. It wants to shut down and it wants to heal. Oh gosh, yeah, Michelle, gosh, you poor thing. Your body wants to shut down and wants to heal. Digestion takes 30% of your caloric expenditure per day. So that's huge. That's more than a quarter of your calories burned per day is spent on digestion. Now, if you don't eat, that doesn't mean that, those calories are kind of stored. It doesn't mean that. It just means that the spotlight is shone on something else that needs to be fixed. So if your body's not digesting, it thinks, right, I'd better repair stuff then. It just kind of shifts its attention and it focuses that energy on other more important things. So it's a healing state. That's what it is. I want you to now just restore your trust with your body, because here's the crazy thing. One of the things that really fueled my binge eating disorder was the idea that I needed to eat 3 meals a day plus snacks to stay healthy, to keep my energy going, to keep my metabolism running. I had this belief that I needed to eat regularly throughout the day. And that was tough for me when I was dealing with a binge eating disorder, because I was like, okay, so like every couple of hours, I either ate a healthy meal or I went for the chocolate bar that I really, really wanted. So that was, but now when I look back, I'm just like, gosh, that was crazy thinking, to think that me, with my brain and my superficial thoughts, that I needed to drip feed my body food every couple of hours, 3 meals a day plus snacks, which is what we're advised to do, that I needed to drip feed myself that food every couple of hours to keep my body going, to keep my energy up. To keep my energy up, I needed to keep eating. And that's basically what we've been brought up to believe. If breakfast adverts are very much, that's what they're all about. And I think they kind of fuel it as well. They fuel the belief that the breakfast bars and the breakfast cereals, they say, oh, eat this cereal and it will keep your energy up. It will keep you running for, up until lunchtime. So we have this idea that we need to eat to keep our energy going and to keep running and to keep thinking clearly. And it's just absolutely mad, because your body is so special. It's so, it's got an innate ability to heal and to fend for itself. It doesn't need you to drip feed food all throughout the day. It doesn't need that. It just that's not what your body needs. Your body needs what it needs, and you'll find out what that is the more you fast. Because when you fast and you start to build trust with your body, you start to notice that, oh, I am hungry at this time, and I'm not actually hungry at this time. Like, you build a really trusting relationship with your body and you become more sensitive to what your body needs. So you're not in charge, basically. And you only have to look at, the time when you were in your mother's tummy, or if you've had children, that it's the most miraculous thing. And come on, what did your mum do, really, to build you in her tummy? She didn't really do much. I mean, let's face it, she probably sat on the couch, she probably watched telly, she probably, just took long walks, but she didn't actually have to do anything to build your heart, your lungs, your skin, your hair. And it's just absolutely miraculous that your body can do incredible things, and it doesn't need you to take control sometimes. I mean, yes, you need to eat, and yes, you need to nourish yourself, but not in the way that you probably think, and not in the way that you've been brought up to think. So you're not in charge. Stop trying this diet, that diet, this exercise, that exercise, trying. Just let it go. let your body do its thing. If you fast, it's an example of how you're taking away control from yourself and you're just giving your body control, and you're saying, there, fix it. Whatever's going on, just fix it. If I'm bloated after meals, if I'm feeling heavy, if I'm feeling like I'm craving all the time, like, fix it. Like, I'm going to stop eating for this amount of time. Just do what you do. So I want you to let go. And Oprah Winfrey, as if there's any other Oprah, Oprah Winfrey and Deepak Chopra, they both say some amazing things about letting go that I just wanted to say to you now. So Oprah says, if you want something, let it go. And I really like that. That kind of goes for everything in life, doesn't it? And it's very applicable to now. So just let your body do its thing. Just take food away for a certain amount of time and just let your body heal and do its thing. Deepak Chopra, he says, in the process of letting go, you'll lose a lot of things from the past, but you'll find yourself. And I really like that too. That's great. So when it comes to 3 meals a day plus snacks, where do those guidelines actually come from? So it's a government guideline. It's put together by the government and the FDA and the Food Standards Agency, whichever country you're in, has its own kind of, food kind of government, and they decide what the guidelines are for the people. Do you trust them 100%, especially when food companies are so heavily invested into, they put so much money into the government? It's like, if you consider the UK, for instance, we have something called the Eat Well plate, and that basically represents what we need to be eating in a day. And what it recommends is over a quarter of your meals per day should be made up of grains and like whole grains and things like that. But in the diagram, it has pictures of bread, pasta, and things like that. And in the previous Eat Well plate, so it was called the food pyramid. It's the Eat Well plate now, but it used to be the food pyramid. And in the food pyramid, it actually stated under that section, it actually said, we recommend that you have 11 portions of whole grains per day. And that's the truth. That was the food pyramid in the UK not too long ago, when you think about the grand scheme of things. Now, if you think of a portion of whole grains, a portion is a slice of bread. So 11 slices of bread per day was a recommendation. That's almost a loaf, guys. So just reconsider who you're listening to when it comes to how you should be eating, whether you should be eating 3 meals a day with snacks. I did some work with an author called Zoe Harcum, and she was all about busting open the government guidelines. She was an amazing researcher. And she basically went to the government with a question of where the idea of 5 fruits and veg a day comes from, because we're advised to have 5 fruits and veg a day. And so she made it her mission to find out, where the hell does that come from? And she went to every top official that she could find, and none of them knew the origin of why you should be eating 5 fruits and veg a day. So the reason why I say that is because I just want to show you that what the television tells you and what food companies tell you and what the government tells you to eat, it's not necessarily to be trusted. What you need to do is you need to remember, the word is trust. You need to trust your own body, and you need to listen to what your body has to say. When you fast and you take food out of the equation, it's like you turn the lights on in your body. Your body's like, oh, and it can see what's wrong. And it's like, okay, right, I need to fix that. I need to fix that. I need to fix that. It's like a nightclub when you turn the lights on after a Saturday night in a nightclub or a Friday night. And you turn the lights on and you can see all the, horrible bottles and all of the stickiness and, all of the mess and all of the vomit. And you're just like, okay, better get the brooms out and better start cleaning for the next night. That's basically what it is. Amazing. You've been listening to your body and being more conscious. I love that. That's so good. That's what we're doing this year. So that's basically, if that's what fasting's like, it's like a nightclub. It's like switching the lights on in a nightclub. It's a conversation between your body. Now, if you fasted before, you may have noticed that you either feel great, or you may have noticed that you don't feel great. You may think, fasting's not for me. I mean, even after you try the 18-hour fast today and tomorrow, you might think, oh, I'm not sure if fasting's for me. This doesn't feel right. I'm not feeling good in myself. Fasting doesn't promise that the conversation will be good between you and it. Usually, we are so busy. We're so busy with our phones. We're so busy with technology. We're so busy with work, with family life, with everything that's going on in the world. We're so busy. How many of you can really say that you have time to tune into your body and what it truly needs, whether it needs to eat, whether it needs to fast, whether it needs a chocolate bar or it needs like a nourishing salad? How many times can you say that you can actually drop into your body and you have the time to get really quiet with yourself? Not many. I struggle to get, centered, and it's something I'm trying to work on, to be honest. But what fasting does, what fasting does is it pulls you into the present. So like if you're walking on a mountain on a rocky terrain, you don't have time to think about your phone. You don't have time to think about work. You're kind of pulled into the present. And what fasting does is, when you are in a fast, and let's say it's an intense fast, let's say you're doing your 18 hours tomorrow and you're really kind of struggling to get to the afternoon, you're pulled into your body and your body is saying, listen. So yes, it's going to tell you you're hungry. That's obviously. But tomorrow I want to talk about hunger, because hunger is not necessarily, I mean, if you're hungry and you want to eat, that's absolutely, that's totally, like, obviously, like, that's something you need to do. But hunger during a planned fast is not something to be feared. It's not something to be scared of. It's not something that triggers you to immediately have to eat something like, this is wrong, I need to eat. Hunger is just a simple request for food, and it goes. So yes, that's part of the conversation that fasting will have with you. But then also you might find, oh, I feel a bit fatigued, or I've got a headache, or maybe you might find, toilet issues, maybe constipation, diarrhea. Like, I don't know, maybe you'll fast and you'll have an amazing experience. I tend to have good experiences with fasting. I just do, but I've been doing it for a long time. But a lot of people have symptoms. That is your body talking to you, telling you stuff. So let's say you do your 18-hour fast. Let's say you do your 18-hour fast and you get a headache. Is that really the first time you've had a headache? Do you tend to get headaches often? Why do you think you're getting a headache? Like, what's really going on there? It wasn't the fast. Yeah. It wasn't the fast that caused the headache. the fast just kind of let you know that, okay, you're someone who struggles with headaches. If you had tummy issues, if you had digestive issues of any kind, if you had toilet issues, the fast is just telling you that it's there. There's an issue, that it's identified. It's like a virus protection on your computer. It's basically done a check and it's like, okay, tummy issues. So what the tummy issues are telling you is, okay, maybe do whatever you need to get over the tummy issues. If that means you need to eat, then eat. Like, if just, don't worry about it, move on, do another fast another time. But maybe you need to also think, okay, why am I getting tummy issues? Like, what is the bigger picture here? What is my diet like? What is my stress levels like? Like, am I looking after myself? Am I truly putting myself first? Because fasting tends to highlight the things that your body is currently struggling with. So when I have troubles with fasting, it's usually with fatigue. Yeah, I mean, that's not the first time I feel fatigue though. Like I'm kind of burning on all cylinders sometimes. And when I'm fasting, I feel tired sometimes. And yep, that's highlighting one of my problems. So really, if you get any symptoms, do what you need to do to fix them. If that means to eat, if that means to drink, if that means to, do whatever you need to do. But consider why it's happening and what you possibly need to change as well, because your body is holistic, right? You need to fix a multitude of things. So it might not be a good conversation between you and the fast. The fast. It might not be a good conversation. You might not want to hear what it has to say, but it might have really great things to say as well. It might give you great energy and you might think, gosh, look, my tummy just feels so great. It feels so flat and I feel so motivated. If that's the case, like, you're doing good, like, just keep going. It's excellent. Like, this 18-hour fast will tell you a lot about your body. Ancient wisdom, guys. Ancient wisdom can't be wrong. Every religion around the world practices fasting of some kind. And I know Ramadan is the biggest group of people who practice intermittent fasting all together at the same time. So intermittent fasting is basically fasting under 24 hours approximately. So let's say 16-8, 18-hour fast is intermittent fast. 1 meal a day is an intermittent fast. Ramadan is intermittent fasting every day. From sunrise to sunset, there's no eating. And depending on where you are in the world, depends on how long that fast is, right? So when I lived in Dubai, it's always a fun time to watch everyone speeding home in their cars after work. When the sun was coming down, everyone would be speeding and like rushing down the road to get home. It was a really fun time. But I mean, even then, that was when I was in Dubai, that was around the summer. So it's like spring months and summer months. So they were having a huge fast. Like, sunrise was like 5 a.m. and sunset was about 7. So I mean, I can't think of the number of hours right now, but that is probably, I can't think how many hours that is. But don't forget, they need to sleep as well. So they were probably overall doing an 18-hour fast with 18-hour fast, like you are going to be doing today. They were probably doing a 20-hour fast, So Ramadan is the biggest trial on intermittent fasting, and it's studied in multiple studies, and all of the studies show that nobody drops dead when they do Ramadan 40 like that long for fasting, intermittent fasting, and actually their health improves, heart health improves, people lose some weight, and it's been studied, and the results are great. Like, it's not a terrible thing for your health. It's something that they do, and it's great. All of the greatest thinkers in the world have practiced fasting. So fasting isn't a new thing. It's not keto. It's not the zone diet. It's not some new diet that you've heard of recently. It's ancient. So the greatest thinkers like Hippocrates and Aristotle and Plato, like the philosophers, the greatest philosophers of our time, all fasted. And there are some really cool quotes. Aristotle, he said, instead of medicine, better fast today. I love that quote. It's great. So obviously that's fasting as a healer, right? And Plato, a Greek philosopher, he says, I fast for greater physical and mental efficiency. It's just ancient. And, you know, I have this great book from the early 1900s by Dr. Edward Earl, and it's called The Philosophy of Fasting. And he's a doctor. Fasting has been used for healing for centuries. And he wrote a book in 1906 about a fasting program. Now, his was a bit extreme. His was 30 days. So it's 30-day water fast. So nothing to eat for 30 days. But he swore that anybody who was unwell, that if they fasted for 30 days, then it would literally be a reboot. It's like Control, Alt, Delete on your body and you will be well. But look, you know, I'm not asking you to do a 30-day fast. I'm asking you to experiment with intermittent fasting, which is under 24 hours, which is generally considered safe for most people. I have a podcast called Your Body's Way, and I hope you can listen to it at some point and subscribe. That would be awesome. But I had a really amazing conversation with Kirsten Carey. She is an autoimmune expert, and she has just recently taken her clients through a 3-day water fast. And she claims that after completing the fast, that the results of their blood work miraculously improves. Now, I'm not obviously saying, you know, if you have a health issue that you should fast for 30 days, you should fast for 3 days. That's not what I'm advising you. I'm just asking you to just be aware of the benefits of the healing that fasting can have on your body. Fasting also enhances your emotions. So if you feel emotional tomorrow when you're doing your 18-hour fast, you know, just embrace it. Listen to your emotions, meditate, sit with them, get really close to your body and get really intimate with how you feel. I'll talk about the benefits of fasting tomorrow, but one of the amazing things about fasting is something called autophagy, which is basically your cells recycling themselves. So your cells, in a nutshell, they get tired and old, and they basically get fixed and replaced. So that happens throughout your lifetime. You have a whole new body in about 7 years. So that's basically what happens. So fasting helps to ramp up cell autophagy. And a really amazing author called, what's her name? Candice Pert. She wrote a book called Molecules of Emotion. And she basically says your emotions are living in your cells, and your cells basically vibrate like an orchestra. And that creates an emotion. Like this vibration causes anger. This vibration causes laughter and fun. And so if your cells are clean, if they're rejuvenated, if they're replaced regularly, then your emotions are also, according to her, her studies, your emotions will also be replenished and you'll have really good, clean emotions. So I've kind of gone on a little bit about fasting appreciation. So I hope you are appreciating fasting and realizing that I haven't even talked about dieting. I haven't even talked about the food you're eating or anything like that. I haven't talked about calories. This isn't a calorie controlled diet. I'm just talking about fasting. I don't want you to be afraid of fasting. And I want you to be open to experimenting with it. So when it comes to your mindset for the 18-hour fast, and also for going forward. I don't want you to leave this masterclass and think, oh, I feel really motivated, but then to just go back to how you felt before and maybe just, think fasting isn't for you and just kind of leave it. I want you to stay in the mindset. I want you to feel good. So it takes about 30 days for you to stick with a habit and for it to be solidified as just normal. So if you can stick to some sort of fasting protocol for 30 days at least, then there's a good chance you'll stick with it. So that's the first thing I want to tell you about habits and mindset. The next thing is, I want you to feel good about this experience. I want you to be open to fasting. I want you to enjoy the process. And whatever you put out there, however you feel about your body, however you feel about fasting and your diet, you get in return, right? So if you're not feeling good about your body, then you'll get lots of evidence shone back at you to confirm that. But if you feel good about your body, even if it means focusing on your favorite part and just saying, damn, that looks good. If you've got a great set of legs, or, you love your arms, or, even if it's your hair, or even if it's the way you are with people, just anything about yourself, just focus on it and, put a really good vibe out there about this whole experience that you're having, and believe that your body wants to heal. It wants to be its best self. It wants to get into shape. It wants to look great. It wants to provide you with loads of energy. Just give it what it needs. And what it likely needs is a break from regular eating, and maybe trying a fasting program is your doorway to that. Food changes your state, right? So if you're bored, you might eat. If you feel sad, you eat. If you're excited, you eat. I know that basically any emotion I had was an excuse to eat something because it changes your state. So it's time to find something else that changes your state. So that's a task for you today, to think of something that can change your state just as well as food can. Because even though it is lovely every now and again to treat yourself to something nice and to have that lovely moment and you can feel lovely afterwards, that's great. But if you feel like that's weighing you down and it's not doing you any favors, then it's probably a good time to find something else that changes your state. So the next time you're bored, you're angry, you're upset, you're excited, you're grieving, the next time you're going through those things, find something else. And that is your task. Is it a walk? Is it a podcast? Is it music? Is it a bath? Is it brushing your teeth? Is it exercise? Whatever it is, do it. If you need to change your state, do it. One of my favorite things to do is a podcast, and I love Tony Robbins. So whenever I'm feeling crappy or if I'm feeling demotivated, I'm just like, where's Tony? And I stick on a Tony Robbins podcast, and there's something about him that when I hear him speak, I'm just like, yes, I can do anything. So whatever it is for you, I highly recommend you do it. So that's a task for you. Find something that can change your state in replacement of food. And you know what? I'm going to finish on this. I'm going to say the people around you, they love you, they care for you, and they're well-meaning. But if you have a feeling that if you mention fasting to them, they'll have a problem with it, or they'll have something to say, or they'll put doubt in your mind that it's just another thing, another diet, or, you don't need to do that. Just don't talk about it with people who you think will not be supportive, even if it's your nearest and dearest. Just don't bring it up. Just avoid the conversation. they won't even notice you're fasting. That's the thing about fasting. People don't notice unless you're doing like a 1 meal a day, or if you're doing like a 36-hour fast, or someone might notice, oh, I haven't seen you eat for a while. But with like an 18-hour fast, people won't even notice. So don't even talk about it if you're concerned that people will have something negative to say and they'll put doubt in your mind. Because as soon as you feel doubt, you need to change your state. You need to do something that's going to make you feel motivated again. And I just want to finish on saying that, you know, the women in my fasting, you know, masterclasses and programs, they've had amazing things to say about fasting. And that's the only reason I have the confidence I have to talk about it in the way that I am. Because it's one thing to say it changed my life, but to hear other women say that it changed their life, or it's the best thing they've ever done, or I'm never going to not use fasting again. Like, it's the best thing. It's the best thing I can hear from people. And it's confirmation of the fact that it works.